The teachers of Sunnyvale Creek College were a diverse group, each with their own unique appearance and teaching style. Let's take a closer look at some of them. First up was Mr. Johnson, the history teacher. He was a tall, balding man with wire-rimmed glasses and a penchant for tweed jackets. His classes were always filled with lively discussions and debates about the past. Next was Mrs. Patel, the math teacher. She was a petite woman with dark hair and a warm smile. Her classes were known for their challenging problem sets and her ability to explain complex concepts in a way that made sense to everyone. Then there was Coach Thompson, the physical education teacher. He was a burly man with a booming voice and a love for all things sports-related. His classes were always high energy and filled with friendly competition. Ms. Garcia was the art teacher, with her long, flowing hair and colorful scarves. Her classes were a mix of creativity and technique, and her students always produced stunning works of art. Dr. Lee was the science teacher, with his white lab coat and thick-rimmed glasses. His classes were filled with experiments and hands-on learning, and his students always left with a deeper understanding of the natural world. Ms. Smith was the English teacher, with her love of classic literature and quirky sense of humor. Her classes were a mix of reading, writing, and lively discussions about the power of words. Mr. Wynn was the music teacher, with his love of jazz and his ever-present guitar. His classes were filled with the sound of music, and his students always left feeling inspired. Ms. Jackson was the drama teacher, with her dramatic flair and love of the stage. Her classes were a mix of acting exercises and rehearsals for the school play, and her students always put on a show to remember. Mr. Brown was the computer science teacher, with his love of coding and all things tech-related. His classes were a mix of programming assignments and hands-on projects, and his students always left with a deeper understanding of the digital world. Ms. Thompson was the psychology teacher, with her calm demeanor and insightful observations. Her classes were a mix of lectures and discussions about the human mind, and her students always left with a deeper understanding of themselves. Mr. Patel was the economics teacher, with his love of numbers and graphs. His classes were a mix of theory and real-world examples, and his students always left with a deeper understanding of how the economy works. Ms. Lee was the foreign language teacher, with her love of travel and different cultures. Her classes were a mix of vocabulary drills and cultural lessons, and her students always left with a deeper understanding of the world, beyond their own. Mr. Garcia was the physics teacher, with his love of equations and experiments. His classes were a mix of theory and hands-on learning, and his students always left with a deeper understanding of the laws of the universe. And finally, there was Mrs. Brown, the guidance counselor. With her warm smile and open heart, she was always there to listen and offer support to any student in need. Together, these 15 teachers made up the heart and soul of Sunnyvale Creek College, each bringing their own unique talents and passions to the classroom. And as the school year went on, their students grew and learned, inspired by the dedication and love of their teachers.